Great Britain as a place of extraordinary spatial heterogeneity. There are some places like London that are wonders of the world, places of both incredible pleasure and incredible productivity. And then there are other parts of the UK that are less successful economically. The North, for example, places that were hit by post-industrialization and have not yet quite recovered. What do you think the right policy responses are to this kind of heterogeneity?
So that's a pretty big question. I think the important thing is that you need to start with an understanding of where those disparities are coming from and a recognition that those disparities that you talk about, they're not just simply north-south. You know, we have places in the south that are doing very well, places, you know, other places in the south, coastal towns, etc., which are doing quite badly. And then if you go to the north...
So for example?
Well, for example, Hastings, Folkestone, where I grew up, has been struggling for a long period of time. Dover, you know, not doing so well. So some of those sort of old coastal towns, you know, and then round into the estuaries of northern Kent, you know, places there that have struggled for long periods of time. And then if you go to the north, you know, again, the picture is very varied. You know, everywhere really was struggling sort of mid-80s, 90s. Since the 2000s, you know, we've seen a fantastic turnaround in some places. So, you know, Manchester's gone from losing population to growing 10% in terms of its population. But neighbouring Liverpool, you know, is still experiencing negative population growth. Go to Newcastle and Sunderland in the northeast. We got Newcastle, you know, just about getting back into positive population growth. Sunderland right next door, you know, losing population. So I think when you think about the policy mix, you've got to think about the fact that there's this very varied performance within the places.
And what variables predict which of these areas are doing better and which ones are doing poorly?
Well, I think, you know, the key thing, there's a couple of key things that drive it, really. So one is that part of what's driving the turnaround in cities, as you know, is this sort of big structural shift that we've seen towards services and other activities that really benefit from being in big cities. So, you know, some of those cities, Manchester, for example, or Leeds, you know, they are getting the activity in the north that benefits from agglomeration economy. So they will be the bit with the financial service industry that's possibly serving that part of the country, possibly national markets, global, less so than London.
For the hardest hit places, what would you like to see done differently than what's done now?
So the hardest hit place is always the real toughie.
Right.
So, you know, one of the things I think we have to do is be realistic about what we can do for those places. I always sort of say that there is part of it which is getting younger people into opportunities elsewhere in the region. Not all flooding down to London and the southeast, because actually we just talked about the fact that, you know, actually London and the southeast has lots of people that are struggling. But, you know, where can we create opportunities for those young people? You know, and if you are growing up in Blackpool, which is, you know, a seaside town in the northwest of England, I suspect we can generate those employment opportunities for you in Manchester.
Right.
But we're going to struggle to generate any kind of employment opportunities for you in Blackpool. Now that then always leaves the question of what you do for the people that are left behind. Now we know that they're going to tend to be older, or they're going to be really at the bottom end of the skills distribution, income distribution. And there I think we need to think creatively. So I think that there are some things that we can do that are really long-term investments in that space. These are things that you, Diane Coyle and others emphasised on the Manchester Independent Economic Review, you know, early years stuff that has a 20-year payoff, investments at that level. And then some of it is going to be about public good provision. You know, so some of it is basically going to be non-economic interventions in those areas that are still going to provide, you know, improved quality of life for people that are left behind. And I think it's somehow sort of getting that mix right. At the moment, what we do is sort of pretend that we're going to bring them those opportunities. Now, you know, that sort of moving away thing, politicians are always really struggle, right?
Right, absolutely.
So I always use the personal anecdote with it. I don't know where you grew up, but I grew up in Folkestone. You know, if I had listened to the politicians who said that they would bring those opportunities to me, you know, I wouldn't know you, I wouldn't be sitting here now, I'd be driving a forklift truck.